Want equality? Curtail free speech. Does anyone else feel like that's counterproductive and the exact opposite of equality by putting restrictions on what you can and cannot say because other people might have their feelings hurt? Well, according to this article on stuff.com by Jacob Van D. Weiser, which I hope I'm saying that name right, that's exactly what should happen. So let's dive into this article, shall we? On March 23rd, New Zealand awoke to the horrific news of yet another terrorist attack, this time in London. They leave a link to their own news article talking about the incident. London's worst terror attack in less than a decade has left at least 5 people dead, including the assailant and the police officer he stabbed. At least 40 people have been injured. A deranged individual plowed a car into innocent pedestrians and brutally stabbed a police officer to death before being shot. The Twitter sphere was soon abuzz with conjecture and accusation. Who was to blame? What were the motives? I felt sick as I read comments saying, Islam is to blame, and it must be another Muslim. The fact that the attacker was a Muslim is irrelevant. The issue is that Islamophobia was the first response. So, okay, quick question. Why is that irrelevant? The fact that the attacker was Muslim. Because I actually think that's a pretty important bit of information there that should be counted for. I'm just saying. Yeah, let's just ignore the fact that he was part of this ideology that has reprehensible teachings and influence over people's decision making when following it. It'd be like if some guy shot up a school and we found out that he was a devout Christian. Now, is it possible that his religion had some sort of influence on him? Well, it is possible, but let's not talk about that because that's someone's belief system, and of course cannot be called into question. It's all these people criticizing Christianity that's the true problem. You see where I'm going with this? If you are a Muslim, you continually have to defend your faith against people who accuse it of being a dangerous and violent set of ideas. Islam is the religion of peace. Anyone who understands this knows it has no part in the ideology of ISIS. Yeah, please keep being one of those people that try and peddle that Islam is the religion of peace, even though Islam, much like, every other religion, has some questionable teachings. Here are a few examples. As to those who reject faith, I will punish them with terrible agony in this world and in the hereafter, nor will they have anyone to help. Those who disbelieve follow falsehood, while those who believe follow the truth from their Lord. So when you meet those who disbelieve, smite at their necks till when you have killed and wounded many of them, then bind a bond firmly. If it had been Allah's will, he himself would certainly have punished them. But in order to test you, some with others. But those who are killed in the way of Allah, he will never let their deeds be lost. O ye who believe, when ye meet those who disbelieve in battle, turn not your backs to them. Whoso on that day turneth his back to them, unless maneuvering for battle or intent to join a company, he truly hath incurred wrath from Allah, and his habitation will be hell, a hapless journey's end. O prophets, strive against the disbelievers and the hypocrites, and be stern with them. Hell will be their home, a hapless journey's end. Allah's apostles said, know that paradise is under the shades of swords. Fight everyone in the way of Allah and kill those who disbelieve in Allah. And that's only a few. So no, I don't believe this line of, it's a religion of peace, when it can be just as reprehensible as any other religion. Now look, honestly for me, I don't care if you're a Muslim. If you want to follow this, then fine, I don't care. As for the attack on London, look, I don't know for 100% certainty that it was because of Islam, but at the same time, I'm not going to rule it out as a possibility. Any religion can have influence over somebody's actions and decisions. But regardless, I am still going to criticize religion, including Islam, because it is not beyond reproach. You think just because people criticize it, that it's Islamophobia? Life is a constant fight for other minorities too. If you're a member of the LGBTQAA+ community, you must battle for your rights. You are forced to choose from just 2 bathroom choices when you often don't fit either. Workplaces often fail to be inclusive to this community, refusing them places in the boardroom. Yeah, please keep pandering to a community that has at this point been getting nothing but support and backing. If you're a woman, trans or otherwise, there is no escape from rape culture. On a given day, you might hear a rape joke or be given a compliment, such as being asked for your phone number by a stranger. The men who make these comments defend them as harmless, but unwanted harassment can trigger harmful flashbacks to previous similar incidents or experiences of sexual assault. Oh yes, I'm sure that's such a frequent thing that happens. Of course it's the men's fault. It's their fault for even daring to ask for someone's phone number. I'm sorry, but what? What does this have to do with the 7 dead people and 40 injured? Like, why do you go and completely make this about something else? Yeah, 7 people died and 40 people got fucked up, but women are getting triggered by arbitrary questions, so clearly that's much more important. The misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic hate speech directed at oppressed groups is damaging to a society. And with the rise of Donald Trump's brand of politics, it's also being legitimized. So, what does this have to do with free speech? And how might things change for the better? Well, there is some hope. The Canadian Parliament has passed the M-103 motion, which calls on the government to condemn Islamophobia. It is the silver lining of a dark and depressing cloud, and it is something I think New Zealand should seek to not only emulate, but improve. And here's the real kicker of this article. Our government should look to criminalize not only Islamophobia, but racist rhetoric and the criticism of feminism and LGBTQAA+ rights. Oh yeah, what a great idea. Let's just completely outlaw any criticisms because people are too pussy to listen to other people's perspectives. So let's completely stifle people's opinions on these things that have their flaws and their own dogma attached to it. Like, are you kidding me with this? Free speech is all well and good, but it should not be defended at the expense of minority groups. Because as we all know, minority groups are just right about everything. Because reasons. Of course, the obvious course of action is to silence others if they dare to defy these minority groups. Their opinions are the only ones that matter here. Nothing quells fear and hatred like making it illegal, and if we stop opposing progressive values, then surely the constant fighting will stop too. Oh yes, because making things that should be perfectly legal illegal works so goddamn well. People love that. People love being oppressed and told that they can't do things. New Zealand is not a place of tolerance at the moment, but I believe if we curtail free speech, we will be on the path to a fairer future. In what world? What delusion is this? Well, because people don't want to conform to my sense of ideas and morals, then I'm going to enforce it. In fact, I'm going to criminalize it and make it illegal. Lock up anybody who doesn't think this way and punish people who don't think that way. Isn't that regressing a bit? I don't see that as progress. I don't see that as a fair future. You want to know why? Because it's very lopsided. It's very one-sided. There's a huge difference between criticizing and hate speech. But according to this article, they're just one and the same, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. See, this type of thinking, in my opinion, is harmful and leads to the road of actual oppression. So no, Jacob, I don't think this is going to be on a path to a fairer future. I think it's going to be clearly one-sided and not fair at all.